Guys, welcome to the board where Magnus Carlsen played with Javokhir Sindarov, and we are going to break down the opening. Harshit Bhai is going to break down the opening because in chess 960 and freestyle chess,
to understand the opening part of the game because there are so many options, so many ways that you can develop the starting position, but it's not easy to navigate throughout the opening. And actually, in this game, we saw a very nice idea played by Javokhir Sindarov. So the game started with.
So firstly, just to understand, Harshit Bhai, what is the relevance of this opening position? Do you think what is white and black aiming for?
So we obviously somehow want to get these bishops in the game because these bishops, once they get open diagonals, they are definitely going to become very powerful. The queen on g1 would also like to come in the game. So that's why a move like knight f3 might not be ideal because it will restrict your queen from developing.
So that explains Magnus' first move.
Exactly, f3.
Opening the queen.
And then he also perhaps might want e4. So Javokhir is like, I'm going to do the same, but with f5. Also doing the same, but just controlling the e4 square as well. d4 was
opening the bishop,
chosen by Magnus, and then Javokhir chooses to move the pawn to d6, saying that I'm just going to keep my options open. Maybe I want to go e5, or maybe I just want to push a5 and develop my bishop from here. Knight d3.
Also in these positions, Harshit Bhai, this diagonal has opened, so sometimes such an idea can also come.
And actually, look how the game progressed, Sagar Bhai. You're absolutely spot on with that. Knight d3 was played. Knight f6 played by Sindarov, just getting his knight in the game, controlling the e4 pawn push. Knight g3.
Wants to go e4.
And then, now that this knight is developed, Sindarov is like, okay, let me develop my knight as well and perhaps potentially keep my eye on this e5 break.
Did he break now?
He actually went for your idea. e4 can be a bit risky though, because after f takes e4, f takes, the bishop suddenly will jump to g4, and I think that's trouble for
And I already have to move my king.
Exactly.
Nice.
So Magnus went for this idea of a4 that you mentioned to try and bring the bishop and attack.
Also gain space.
Gain space. a4 is a very, very typical idea in these kind of positions to gain space. And Sindarov responds with a5. He says that even I want to do the same. Magnus goes for e4 now, and I think this perhaps was not the best decision, as what happened was he took on e4, exactly, f takes e4,
and now check can be given here.
A check can be given, but he decides to do something very smart. He goes bishop to a7.
Ooh.
And this was
but I have bishop e3.
You
but then the knight jumps.
Exactly. After bishop e3, the knight would jump to g4, and then you already have some pressure that you are facing against your pieces. So he goes for h3.
Makes sense because this is a key square.
Exactly. He stops this. But now I really like this idea of Sindarov. He goes e5. The engines don't say that it's the best move, but practically, I think Sindarov understood the concept in this position
of dark square,
of exchanging the dark square bishop, because after bishop e3 he simply exchanged e takes, bishop takes. He took this bishop off, and after queen takes d4 you can clearly see a difference between this bishop and this bishop, and also these dark squares which are going to become very, very weak once this e5 square. Exactly.
Did he play knight d7?
He played bishop e6 and then followed it up with knight d7 at some point.
This knight came here, the other knight, and he had dark square.
He got total domination and went on to actually win a very, very nice game. He found a very nice tactic with knight e d3. You guys should definitely check that one out. But the key was exchanging these dark square bishops on d4. And guys, after this game, Sindarov is on 4.5 out of 5 and jointly leading the event with Caruana. Tomorrow is going to be day 2. Will be very exciting to see how this progresses.
And this is, guys, the opening breakdown with GM Harshit Raja. I hope you learned something about freestyle chess.
Yes.